is fourth. I'm going to call this meeting to order.
I know.
All right, sure. We'll all stand and pledge allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Yeah. All right. Nervous. All right. Very good. Okay. All right. So today I wanted to begin our committee meeting. We introduced we introduced the members of the committee last month. I want to go over some of the credentials because I think that it's pretty impressive, the group that we have here. I'll start with myself, and which is probably the least impressive. I've been a resident of McCandless Township since 2002. I've worked at Shadyside Academy as an educator, a history teacher since 2001. I've been in their history department for now 23 years, and I am a member of the Organization of American Historians, and those are my credentials there. So Don is a very well-known person around here. He's been here since the beginning of the center open. Yes. He's more than just a nice and gregarious guy. Don has a lot of he has a degree in accounting. He's owned a business. He's worked with the municipal police around the area. He put the computers into the patrol cars. A lot of the 150 patrol cars now getting counted. Very good, and he worked with the IRS as a tax analyst. So Don knows his stuff. He knows his numbers. Suzanne is not just a pretty face either. She has been here since the beginning. She's been a resident of the area for 70 years. She worked at a Horns department store. She worked at a volunteer group that did presentations for parents. She worked at the North Allegheny School District with special education, assisted in that. Our vice president, Rob Potowski. Rob worked for JP Morgan Chase for 20 years. He ran the global IT division for JP Morgan Chase. He had over 200 people underneath him in that job. He has a bachelor's in engineering, a master's in business. He worked for KeyBank. He's a resident of Chicago, or at least
until recently. Yes.
Yes. And there, while he was there, I found this out the other day. He was responsible for what were we doing?
Yeah, so basically part of the parks that were around there, just basically rejuvenating a lot of the parks around Wrigley. So around Wrigley Field, if you see nice rejuvenated parks, if you're ever going to see the Pirates and
he actually has a name on a plaque out
you
there.
got.
So if you ever go out to Wrigley Field, look for Rob's name.
Well, mention my wife's name because my wife's name there as well. Is there? So it's like you gotta mention that.
That's right. And he did a lot. He worked with the Chicago.
Yeah, the Parks District, as well as it's called the aldermen, which are like actually like little mayors of the neighborhoods. Like this, they're like city council. 50 of them.
Very good. So so he has a lot of experience in this type of work. Wendy, the executive director of the HCC, she also holds a master's degree in education. She's been an educator for, I'm sorry, how long?
22 years.
22 years. All right. She's nationally certified as a teacher of social studies. And she currently heads the what is this? I'm sorry. My humanities department. I can't read my own chicken scratch here. She currently leads the humanities department at the Sci-Tech School. She writes curriculum for them. She's provided a lot of professional development opportunities for these teachers. And on a monthly basis, she continues to do this. Yeah, she specializes in reading and writing for high school students, is that right? All right, does that leave anything out? Oh, but there's also, how many, you had the.
Where I work.
Yeah,
at
grants.
before, part of my job was writing grants. So I wrote a lot of grants.
She's written a lot of grants and received a lot of money that way. Kevin is a very well known. He's also been around here since the beginning. He is his 40 years experience in communications. He's a wonderful graphic designer. He does branding and marketing. And he and his wife, I found this really amazing and interesting. He and his wife work on curriculum development for cyber charter schools, and they've been doing that for 10 years. And that's a pretty a good little gig there. It takes a lot of knowledge and a lot of skill to do that. Yeah, so it's Kevin. Let's see. And that's a very talented team that we have here. I just want everybody to understand that we have a lot of talent, a lot of professionalism on this committee, and we look forward to doing a lot of great things together. And these folks are working together right now tirelessly. And I remind everybody that they are doing this totally as volunteers with no pay. All right, so. I just wanted to introduce and let everybody know what type of people we have on this team. All right.
I appreciate that, by the way. I'm always impressed, so I appreciate you going through the detail.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I stumbled over a lot.
Extremely impressive. It's an impressive group.
It is an impressive group, and I'm really honored to be working with every one of you. All right, so we have at this time a public comment on any of the agenda items. No public comment. Okay, we'll move on. Has everybody read the minutes from the last meeting? Is there anything that needs to be changed? Okay, if we all approve of these of the minutes, say aye. Aye. Anybody against? Very good. Okay. Report from committees.
I can go first with the marketing and communications. We have, Rob and I are sort of the committee. And we met informally for coffee and I brought him up to speed with some of the past efforts and we're trying to get our head around what our marketing and communications efforts can be moving forward, try to make things a little bit more systematic between how we promote things on our social media. And since we have a few speaker series coming right up, we worked on two things, and these are in black and white, but we obviously had our old time writers. Now, this was prepared by, yeah, but what we're doing now is creating separate graphics for Facebook and for the calendar that Dan provides on the Canvas site. And so when Minutes Matter, which is our event happening in March, yes, we did the same thing. So we're trying to come up with a way that we can standardize these, and we're always trying to put our little logo up in the corner because oftentimes something might not directly connect back to us from so we want to get that sort of brand element on there for everything. So moving forward now, if we have the speakers, we have sort of a system in this, and we're trying to still work out how we're going to do the press releases and how we're going to do streamline everything. And Al will talk a little bit more about social media.
Yeah, happy to do that. So we're sticking with our big strategy of increasing especially digital engagement. So obviously we've got multiple goals. One of them that we think we can do is increase digital engagement, especially be able to get people who for some reason are not able to be able to come into the HCC that often. Would still like to be able to highlight both the people, the artifacts and processes, the stories, the narratives, all of that. Would like to be able to build that out digitally. And we think we've got a great opportunity to do that. So we've got lots of, we're thinking big, but we're starting small. So we're starting by just let's get some stuff out there very quickly. So the first thing that we did is we created a short 8-minute video of Wendy as the director, just going through our strategic update. So basically, where are we in the strategic plan and what are the goals for this year? And so we did dutifully submit that to John, who dutifully very quickly reviewed it and has now sent it up. I believe Brian is taking a look. Is that correct? Oh, I'm sorry, Brian. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. So we want to make sure we go through the appropriate channels, make sure that's out there. So we're trying to get the process down to be able to add that to the playlist that's out there for the YouTube channel. Then the intent is that once we have that link, we'll be able to share that link on either Facebook or Instagram or the appropriate channels that we have on the platform. Now, the second thing that we're looking to do, so that's like an 8-minute, it's probably in 8 minutes, pretty long for social media. I mean, 8 minutes, probably not going to be a ton of people to make it through 8 entire minutes. So we want to be able to create shorts, which are usually 1 to 2 minutes in duration. And on YouTube, they're called shorts. On Instagram, they're called more like reels, which are basically 1 to 2 minutes. And we're looking to be able to do the first one of that with the Alzheimer's presenter who's going to be here tomorrow, just to have them stay a little bit afterwards and give a 1-minute talk about what's the value of showing this subject matter at the HCC. And just have them comment on that in 1 to 2 minutes. And again, we'll get that out to you as well, John, and see, does that make sense to be a place to get started? Now, the other thing that we're probably looking to engage everybody here is everybody's going to want to have a little 1 to 2 minute blast about who all you are. And then also we're going to have little 1 to 2 minute blasts about some of the artifacts in there and start being able to post those on YouTube, on Instagram, on any of the other approved social channels that we have. I mean, we have the content, it's all here. So being able to digitize it and be able to put it out there is something we're looking to do.
And we'll also do QR codes for in here.
Yeah.
For people to be able to, for the article.
And that's all with with the goal of increasing our digital engagement, which and we think that will then drive even additional ideas that we haven't even thought of. At the same time, John, I know I'm like probably driving you nuts with all the emails I send. So as you can tell, I over communicate, just making sure we're coloring between the lines, making sure everything's working out well. If anybody wants to see the initial 8-minute video, I do have it posted on the Google Drive as well, but you can take a look at it. And then tomorrow we'll have to get obviously the Alzheimer's presenter to agree to be videotaped and agree to that. So we'll see if they were, but it's going to be literally just me with a tripod and the light, and it'll be extremely informal, which is appropriate for that type of medium. It's appropriate for it.
Rob, yeah, just because I've had some experience here with doing oral history, and the first thing you want to do is ask them, do you consent to being videotaped? That's just
Good point. Yeah, good point. Yeah.
Get it on video, and they realize that they can't just say, yeah, that actually had
Very good.
You probably already knew that.
No, excellent. No, please,
Yeah,
please,
yeah.
every time. I need
All right.
all the expertise. Believe me.
Excellent. Well, thanks. Sounds great.
Okay. And John, I just wanted to ask, are we doing everything appropriately on your side with this?
Yeah, I have no issue.
Because I know somebody who's managing all the channels, being an IT guy, I know that can be a challenge, so.
It's gone smooth so far.
Perfect.
All right. So finish with the marketing communication. Anything from fundraising?
I can give 2 updates on that.
Yes.
So I'm meeting with Joe. So Joe Wall is the one who's historically had connections with donors. And obviously those are relationships that get built up over time. And so a few things are happening in me meeting with Joe. Number one is he is working on completing the 501c3 slight reorganization that they're using the existing 501c3. He is targeting the end of February to be able to have that complete. And so he will let us know when that's complete. Secondly, then he's putting things into from a donor standpoint into short-term and long-term. So to be able to start up the short-term warm handoffs, we're calling it, because we're in total agreement that needs to be a warm handoff with companies and individuals who are donors. And so he's categorizing it into short-term and long-term. And so he will be able to set those up and then be able to introduce me to the folks to make sure there's a seamless transition. What we want to avoid is that they get a call out of the blue of like, who's this new person? And so Joe and I want to make sure that everything's totally seamless and totally on point. So those are the 2 updates, the 501c3, which by the end of February should have an update on, and then the warm handoffs should start to get scheduled soon.
Okay, good. I know we'll hear some more about fundraising when we get to new business, some of the amazing stuff that Wendy's been doing. All right, volunteers, clearances. We saw a few of them,
Yeah, clearances are starting to come in. We had a clearance day where I was here to help people do their clearances, but those are starting to come in.
I think
everybody's
got that.
Yeah, and we're just keeping a copy
Of the active ones.
of the active ones. So we're just keeping a copy here, just so we're clear for when we have
Yeah.
school groups, and they'll keep a copy.
Excellent.
So we do have those coming in, which is excellent,
yeah. That went smoothly then.
very simple.
Good,
Yeah.
good. It's always, it's always interesting to put your fingerprints on something, government, go look at it, so, all right, so, okay, good, old business. Oh, program?
Program.
Oh, did we skip that? Ah, sorry about that.
So homeschool workshops, we have, we're ready to, start advertising. I'm just waiting until the township is getting this new program for, saying people who are coming. What's the name of it, Brian?
Civic Rec, it's our website is Civic Plus, Civic Rec is a module.
So it's gonna really help record
Nice.
people's information as they're coming in. So I was holding off putting that out until that program is up and running, because I think it'll make it so much easier than getting
Great.
20,000 emails. Of
Yeah.
of single people who are coming. So we're ready to go and start advertising that. We're just waiting for that program, which is supposed to be done start in March, hopefully.
Yeah, we have a meeting goes later this week, because we have to get everything ready for our summer.
Yeah,
That's gonna be an overall option to let people reserve hopefully our pavilions along with pickleball courts and things like that.
and I'm really excited about how it'll streamline our
Absolutely.
RSVP.
Seriously, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
news. That's great.
It's a great thing.
Pay for the homeschool workshops.
Yeah, we're gonna ask for a donation.
Okay.
My anticipated was $15 a person. But we can change that for future ones if needed. We won't have a lot of expenses for that, because we're not providing any food or anything. They're just coming. Doing stuff, and we're gonna display it, and I'll invite parents and grandparents back in to see it. We have all of our speakers scheduled for the entire year, which I'm very excited about. We have some very interesting ones. Those were sent to the township for approval.
So they're either gonna be, if they need to go to council, we'll be on next Monday's
Okay.
council meeting.
Yeah.
Or signed off on by Tuesday, so.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not.
Don and I will have a conversation about anything that needs to go to council.
Okay. And I have been working with, Benita about scheduling and doing a Diwali celebration it'll be in October. Probably a Sunday. We're still putting together the details of that, so it's very exciting to celebrating cultures.
Very good. All right. Thank
And real quick question, Brad, that homeschooler program, is that one you said you might be able to reuse? Is it-
Yeah, that one is going to be, students or children are going to get an artifact, and they are gonna get a document. The document might be an image, it might be a written out something, it might be something we have here, it might be like more of a popular, or like a one available publicly. They're gonna be doing what a historian would do, sketching, looking at the details of the artifact, really examining it, like they were gonna record information about that artifact. Then they're gonna connect that artifact to the primary source documents. We can provide contextualization if they need to, like what was going on during that time period that makes this artifact and this document important. They're gonna put it all together in using index cards, handwriting, because we can't
Yeah. good.
print and stuff. And we're gonna do a mini display of a student museum exhibit.
Sounds good.
That sounds nice.
That's awesome.
Excellent. Can we move on to old business?
Yeah.
Okay, wonderful, yeah.
That's great.
Let's see, we need to vote,
The collections policy.
okay, the updated collections policy, so, old wording, food and drink are not permitted in the center, except in the office, smoking is prohibited. The new wording will be food and beverage consumption is allowed in the designated areas during the pre-planned events and rentals. Pending approval from the board, smoking is still prohibited. So,
I'll make a motion that we accept the updated collections policy.
good, have a second,
Second,
all in favor?
All right.
All right,
Can I just ask, is that about the rent, is that in the rental policy? Is that what we're referencing?
It's in the collections policy that food and drink are not permitted in here.
Okay,
I don't, the rental policy said it had to follow the collections policy, if I'm remembering correctly.
gotcha. Okay.
So we would also have to update, like, we were gonna talk, I don't remember if I put it on. The rental policy.
Your room rental fee?
Oh, yeah, it's under fundraisers, yeah. So if we wanna change the room rental fee, or the room rental things, we can,
And they won't be able to have food.
unless it's approved by the board.
Okay.
So they could, if it's approved by the board.
Okay.
So we'd have to look at it case by case. I thought that would be better than a blanket policy.
Yes, right.
Certainly restricted and make sure that everybody understands, that, you know, we have things in here that, need to be protected. Okay, all right. Teaching collection wording. You wanna talk about it?
Yeah, so last time we talked about making a collections group of objects that we use for teaching. So we can take them into classrooms. If we start going into classrooms, we can use those and students can handle them. And just more having a teaching collection instead of just an archive collection. And it would be items that are duplicated or items that might not be relevant for our collection, but are still important historical objects. Using those as a teaching collection. So last time we met, people were in favor of it. And so this is just a policy that was adapted by putting together various policies that I was able to look up.
I like it.
Okay. Should I read that in or should you just read it on your own?
I'm reading it. I'm good with it.
Okay. Okay, so can I get a motion to accept?
We'll move to-
Second, I'll second it, and all in favor? Aye. Any against? Good. Oh, where is it? There. Okay, so on C, year-end report to council. Board on February, in the February meeting, and
I regret to update the board that Joe has not provided content yet.
So do you want me to go through things from last year and just put something small together? Because I won't have the data, I won't have any of that information.
At this point,
Something small is better than nothing.
yeah, and I would think that we would ask to provide that in the March meeting. Because your meeting is on Monday. I think we were on the understanding that we would get that. I mean, I don't know, I can't, unless you can put it together.
I can put something together.
I mean, we can still do something in March too, like, it's not like, so if the concept is you're just trying to get everything.
Yeah, I mean, I can do what I can. I mean, I
Yeah,
wasn't
but
here, so,
If we add things, it's not like we can't
okay,
add
so,
those, or there's some things that won't need to be signed off on. By council, like, that's where we've kind of gotten on what needs to go to council and what doesn't.
oh, we're talking about the review from last year.
yeah,
My bad, sorry. I
Okay.
thought we were talking about.
No.
I was looking at the.
Sorry, the review from last year,
I got you.
we don't have any of the documentation, so I can put something little from what I can glean and talk to Suzanne about.
No,
or is it
I
not?
Just hold on, make it what you guys want and that'll
Okay.
work, yeah,
appreciate
And
it.
we won't worry about it.
yeah.
Okay, so plan second grade field trips and alternative.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
I talked to the curriculum person for second grade in North Allegheny schools. She said there are no field trips planned, nor was there planned. And that anything that would be planned would have to go through a curriculum adoption, which takes a year or two. So I offered some alternatives, like we would send in parts of our educational collection, we could do a school a week for a period of 7 weeks. And they were against that because they want every school to be doing the same thing every week. So, and that's not something we can handle. We can't handle multiple classrooms in 7 schools at the same
We got 7 volunteers.
Like, what do you think?
But even, we wouldn't have enough objects,
Yeah.
like, we don't have enough. I mean, we have a lot, we have a lot of objects that like, that we want second graders to be handling. So, she forwarded my information to the social studies coordinator. But I am not anticipating at this time to do anything else with the second grade.
Is it worth starting the process, for next year, like you had mentioned?
For a field trip,
Yeah, for the field trip.
so, she said in 2 years, that's when they're reopening second grade curriculum. But they would have to bring people here in larger groups, like it'd be all the second grade classrooms here at the same time from one building. And we only can
Yeah, it's.
put 48 people in our room in here, so it's not, at this time, I don't think it's feasible.
Okay.
The alternative would be reaching out to individual teachers and doing something with an individual teacher.
They may not have a lot of latitude.
And they might not have a lot of latitude at a second grade level, because really the focus is on literacy and math. So I did reach out to some of the high school teachers about possibly doing something in the future, if we wanted to do something on History Day, or help them with History Day projects. Or if we wanted to, with our educational collection, do some type of trunk
Mhm.
for history or something like that, where whatever it's connected to, what's going on at the local level.
Yeah.
So like contextualization, like this is the national level, state level, and then we would provide the local level options.
Yeah.
But I have not heard back yet, so I was gonna reach out again.
Yeah, they sound like they're pretty rigid in what they can do. what they
Yeah,
can't
they're very
do.
structured.
And, yeah, maybe we'll look into other avenues for that.
Are there any extracurricular clubs or anything like that, that are history or cultural?
I am not sure about that. The other thing I was gonna look into was Catholic schools in the area.
Yeah, I was gonna say maybe Catholic and private schools.
Catholic schools
Yeah,
in the area.
there's a Catholic school right here
Yeah.
in Wexford, and then there's also another, it's sort of a semi homeschool thing. It's over in the North Park Church
Okay,
called Blackburn Academy.
I'll look at
They probably would be interested because
Yeah.
they're homeschooled, but they go to that place like.
Yeah, it's a
two-
semi-homeschool,
Two or
yeah.
three, 2 or 3 days a week.
Yeah.
And since it's so close, it'd be
Perfect,
easy.
Yeah,
absolutely.
good idea.
I don't know if, the shady side's in our purview or not, but,
When we start, for this education collection, I'm probably not gonna have time to really put it together until this summer.
Yeah.
But it would be available for like whatever schools are interested.
yeah,
Yeah,
okay. The country day school out of Chapel.
okay.
Yeah, so, okay. All right, very good. Appreciate your work there. All right, so, next item is construction update and priorities, and we're gonna hear a little bit about, swing spaces from Rob, who has great experience in these type of things. And the reason why is because, we're looking at, how we want to update, the library and the office area. There was talk about doing the library in the basement. I think that most of us on the committee today don't really think that that's a good space for the library. I think we believe that it's a better option to streamline what we have in the library, get rid of the stuff that's not important and shouldn't be there. Make it a little bit more accessible with very slight remodels. We really want to take the office and make that a tech room. We've got in the works ideas about doing these short tell us your story type of a thing, sort of oral history, recordings, and that'd be great to have a room that we could record in. We're going to investigate maybe talking to Google and see if they want to, make a room in there and help us with some of the technology, and then have more technology available to us, more modern computer technology. So,
Would you expect the kids to have their own computers? I mean, I know everybody.
Oh, yeah, most people have their own computers, but even for like us working in here, I did a oral history interview in here, and you know, it was a busy day, my phone was not, was just about out of juice. I didn't have a charger and there's just nothing around, you know, here. So I just said, that kind of spoke to me that we really need to update that type of stuff. We need more technology available to us, and to our, clientele, so.
And I'll add, the term swing space came from when I went to go visit Heinz History Museum for the first time being here, and I was way impressed. And they had a room there, and I said, "What's that room?" They go, "Well, that's our swing space." I said, "What's the swing space?" He goes, "It's for anything we need. So we can reconfigure it. You want a wedding reception? That's what it is. You need a video room? That's what it is. You need an overflow? That's what it is." So we say, that's our swing space. So I said, it's what we need at the time. And it has to be configurable, because they have to be able to reconfigure it very quickly. So that's how at least that's how we started talking about that term.
Yeah, I think there was some sort of an idea that we needed an office to sort of, you know, to seem legitimate or something like that. And as we were talking about that, Rob brought up the fact that, well, lots of places are going to these swing spaces.
Yeah, and so it's again, you can read whatever they are.
Because right now that office is really just dead space. It's, you know,
Not bumping.
yes, and we can take all that, and we can, you know, if we want to do something in the basement, we can build a little office space down there.
Or just put a desk,
Yeah,
if that's what we decide we want.
Mhm.
The other thing is, our displays, as you can tell, we're not split apart. Public Works is still on that. They asked for a couple dates that we didn't have a lot going on. So I sent them 2 different dates and they were gonna try to do it at that time. It is in between our displays, our
Mm.
scheduled displays, so I thought that would work.
Okay.
As soon as they can, they will tell me what they can do, if they can do those dates, so we have some heads up so we can move our artifacts.
Do we have to take the stuff out of the cases?
I think we would have to take the things out of the case.
Yeah, because
Just
they're
put
gonna
it back.
actually reconfigure the case.
Yeah.
They're gonna put wheels on. so-
They're gonna put wheels on them, they're
I'm-
gonna,
I think there may be wheels on already.
Some of them,
Mm.
that has wheels,
Yeah.
that has wheels.
Okay.
I thought some of these back here did too. I think Joe told me that one time.
Oh, really?
they might because they're, but right now we can.
They're-
move them
yeah.
down.
They put the skirt on, they covered them that, you know. so.
yeah, we really appreciate the town's offer to do that for us, and you know, there was the idea that maybe we would delay opening so that work could be done. But I decided that you know, we needed to open, and so that's what we did. And then we'll work with the town and Jeff, isn't Jeff?
Yeah,
to get that done. We really are interested in reconfiguring floor space here, and we're very excited that Jeff's
Yeah, so we can
offering.
use
to do
this,
it. Yeah, and
use this room.
yeah, so. Very good. Anything more on that? No, okay, we'll move on to new business. See, we have approval of the 2024 calendar for planning purposes.
So this was done right after the last meeting. I sent it to everybody. It was just our basic events that we're gonna have. The fundraisers are not on that calendar yet, so we'll put them on as soon as we are able to do as soon as we figure out exactly what we're doing with those.
Hmm,
But it's just the calendar for all the major
Presentation.
speakers.
Yeah.
The major speakers and what we're gonna do for our displays.
Okay. So it's not quite complete, but as it is.
It is, yeah, right now it is as complete as it can be.
Okay, yeah, very good. Yeah, it's an impressive list of speakers and a lot of work went into that, so. Again, appreciate Wendy's efforts there. I'll make a motion to approve the calendar. Second.
I'll second the motion.
Okay, all in favor? Say
Aye.
Aye.
Nice.
Anybody against? Very good.
We didn't vote on any construction space that we weren't gonna push for a library in the basement.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't think, oh, I do see that motion,
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
they-
Okay,
Before we were asked to have an official vote that we were gonna put off,
okay,
putting the
so
library in the basement.
let me go back to that item then. Item on the swing space, and you want to make a motion for us?
I'm not allowed to make a motion.
Oh, that's right, sorry. I'll move that we accept the new construction proposal. Is that the right one?
And that's to be able to build out the swing space, correct? And put this
Yeah.
back in there. Yes. So So, and I would love to be able to have a big screen so that when we edit things with people, they could see it larger than life there. We could do it, that would be delightful if we could get that. And so I would second that.
Okay, so all in favor of accepting the new idea about the construction, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, anybody against? Okay, very good, thank you. All right, but we did already approve the calendar, I think we can go with that. Year-long fundraising plans.
Okay, so I spent a long time, I talked with Trish over in the municipal building and spent a long time like figuring out what made us money and what didn't make us money. And so essentially, we're narrowing down our focus for fundraisers. We're not gonna do all the little fundraisers just because of our time and effort that goes into those wasn't being seen with what we were bringing in. And so we narrowed it down to 4 fundraisers. We need to talk about those. There was some other points brought up that I thought were good. So right now, we were tentatively scheduled for a Shooters fundraiser, which Shooters, if you're not familiar, it's on Pine Creek. It is essentially a driving range and it's you can do par 3 golf in there. They organize everything. They provide you food. It can be a cash bar. They have fundraiser packages so that their tickets are lower priced than what normally tickets are. So we can charge more money. We would essentially be making about $37–40 per ticket. They also donate 10% of their bar tab to us. We are also able to sell 50/50 raffles and do a number of other items in there for the fundraiser. So we could essentially make $2,000 from the sale of tickets, plus 10% of the bar tab, plus our 50/50 raffles and other raffles and things that we do while we're in there. Which I think they handle most of it. It is not a lot on us. And there's potential to make at least $5,000.
They pretty much set up everything for us.
They set up everything for us. They set up the food. We give them the names of groups. We can have corporate sponsors and they will do like little yard signs and put them in the yard. Or we don't even have to do yard signs. They will just put the advertisers on the television and play their ads the entire time we are there, which is gonna be super easy. So I just think it has great potential as one of our focused fundraisers. Then there was a par 3 fundraiser with the organization across the street. And somebody brought up the idea that maybe we shouldn't have 2 fundraisers that are focused on golf.
Maybe they could be more separate. You know, that was make it.
We could do the par 3 fundraiser in September. And to split the other like we could change those dates
Yeah.
tentatively. But the par 3 fundraiser last year made about $2,000 in profit, so not a huge amount. But I would not be able to run that one because I really know nothing about golf.
Well,
Yeah.
think about what we were talking about doing was doing it at night. We were doing it during the day and brought in 2,000.
Yeah, that's right, that's true, that's.
So we
that's a great
did
point. That's a great
that
point.
in the rainy spring twice.
Yes.
Yes.
So I
Right.
think
Right.
having
2
the
times.
April one, maybe I think that's the par 3 is a nice summer thing, even though I've been thinking about that, even though they're both golf, they're both activities. So maybe that's not a bad thing, you know. I think if you get into September, once kids are back at school, maybe we could get more of a family.
Like a Shooters, definitely you can bring little kids too.
When we
And
did the
Shooters
little
is the
golf
door,
course
so-
over there, it was a family outing, right, over at the,
Yeah,
and that was well attended.
Yeah, that was.
I don't know how much we made, but yeah.
We made $450 on that. Not a lot of money, but it was just one.
But it was easy.
It was more of an activity.
Yeah, it was pretty easy.
That made a little money, yeah.
So are you guys wanting to switch,
No, I think keeping it the way. you
keeping
have
it the way it is?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Unless we have some other some other activity, golf is participatory and
Yeah.
everybody can do it. And kind of-
So you're saying to have in April, the shooters,
It's indoor, right? 'Cause
Indoor.
I think it's,
Shooters is
Yeah.
indoor.
yeah, so we don't get rained out like we did.
and
Yeah.
then, is it August to have the,
Probably July,
Fine, August.
Or
August, we have to see what dates are
Do you
available.
think have their lights up? Yeah,
I don't know,
That's
but
why
that's
we-
something we have to check. I mean, they didn't have lights last year, but they went, from what I understand, once the lease has been settled with them,
they were
they
gonna
were
pass
gonna,
back
they were gonna do
in.
the lights, and I think the driving range was doing the same thing, while I worked.
And as I remember, we had a lot of businesses that, you know, banks. and-
We had one bank that gave us all the money to rent, the whole part three for a day.
Yeah, so, it is, you know.
Yeah, we wonder if we could,
We could look into.
People like golf.
yeah, I'm sure we can work with Joe on that a little bit,
Yeah.
get his advice, because he and Abby, you know,
Yeah.
took the lead on that, and he could give us some guideposts to how to do that all.
it's a good idea.
Pardon?
I think that evening is a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, they could do the
Make it
lights.
more
That
of a
would be-
magical
That
night.
would be,
That would
that would
be,
be great, yeah.
Yeah.
That-
Well, in the evening, I mean, if you make it early enough, it's light until 9 o'clock.
Yeah, well, the
Yeah, we
original
did it
idea, if I
July.
recall, was like doing some sort of dinner at tomato pie or something after
Yeah.
golf, and then there was
Yeah.
gonna be something
Yeah,
in the
Yeah.
area, so it was more than just that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was more, I like it as a summer activity.
okay,
Yeah.
then we'll plan for that, July.
All right,
The September one that I have is Narcissus Winery. They are located up on 910. It's a local business. They grow their own grapes to make their own wine. This would be a very upscale event. It would also be very limited tickets. They do outdoor seating in the summer. So they do outdoor, they have a gazebo or whatever, it's larger than a gazebo, that seats 40 people. In the summer on a Friday or Saturday evening, we could rent it.
They have a band there.
Just have
They
to-
have a band
Very good food.
and it's delicious food, so we would have a set menu that people would be able to choose from when they reserve. It would be a 4-course meal plus bottles of wine. Tickets are gonna be very expensive though, but people who want a nice night out, relaxing with music and good wine are
We're
willing
gonna
to
go out
pay for it.
and might as well go out.
I mean, my husband and I went to a steakhouse for Valentine's. It was before Valentine's Day, because we don't go out on Valentine's Day, 'cause it's crazy. But we dropped $500 on 2 steak dinners and 2 bottles of wine.
So what would,
And that's what people do. The tickets would probably be $200 a ticket. So it would be a very upscale event, but it would also be limited in the number of people, so it would only be 40 people.
you said they have their own band there, is that what you said?
They have
They had been bringing band in on, but I think weekends.
Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, so we wouldn't have to provide.
Oh, okay, because okay.
Yeah.
I was gonna hit some
Yeah.
people up that I know. but-
If we decide, in the future, if we have a lot of interest, if we do it inside, we can seat a lot more people.
Mhm.
And then we can have outside musicians.
that outside is really.
But the outside, sitting
It's-
outside in a winery
gotta-
with grapevines
Yeah.
everywhere and good music playing, I mean, it's very nice.
Yeah,
I'll make beer.
So that was my idea for the winery, just something a little bit more upscale, but limited and that like limited. We would still have corporate sponsors. But a lot of companies would buy tickets for their people,
yeah.
yeah. And again, it's only 40 tickets, so we're not trying to sell 200 tickets
Mhm.
at $400 for a pair.
Would be nice if we could come up with some hook for that, like, when you make something exclusive, like, is there something maybe that would be donated to us that we would reveal? You know, like when we got the portrait, that was a big deal, you know?
Mm.
As the months go on, maybe
Yeah,
there'll
we
be
can
something
find
that,
something.
we can find something that rises to that level and make it
Yeah.
the reason to go and have the wine. Yeah.
Very good idea, yeah.
Yeah, I like that idea. So if stuff comes in, we can't reveal it.
Yeah, there's something special.
Okay, and you've spoken with the folks?
I've spoken at Narcissus and looked at their website just to get information.
Uh-huh.
They don't do any fundraiser specials
Okay.
like Shooters does, but it would still be fairly easy to organize. They would do all the food, they would do everything. We would have a lottery auction.
Will you have baskets?
We will have basket. Yeah, we'll
No, I
get,
had
we'll get baskets. We'll do baskets for pretty much, I don't know about the par three, but for Shooters fundraiser, for the winery and for the History Maker Gala. We will have those. The History Makers Gala, which is the Chadwick Gala scheduled for November 9th. It's not on Thanksgiving Day weekend. We're going to create categories and nominate people in categories this year. We're still defining what those categories are like. Making them public so people can nominate. And selling tickets to for the Chadwick for dinner. It's a great corporate sponsorship opportunity.
Who are the history makers? I mean, give me an example.
History makers, so somebody who does outstanding, it's still like.
Still announced.
It's still
Still-
shining. We're just.
But they're making history in McCandless, so
Yeah.
when people look back at McCandless, they're gonna be saying, hey, that doctor was amazing, they did all these things.
Okay.
School teacher.
That school teacher
That
really
school
made
teacher
an
back
impact.
there who-
You wanna look at small businesses.
Yeah, that's small
Yeah.
business.
The small business that keeps
police or
donating,
Health and safety.
So we're,
that family who's involved in everything.
We weren't
Pe-
talking
people
about
like
George
you.
Washington.
oh, no, no.
People like you, yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
So, it's really, we're talking about the common people of the town and great things that they do. Yeah.
Make it great,
Yeah,
that make
that's
it great.
right. Yeah.
So it's not just about volunteer hours, it's about people who contribute in other ways. Sorry, we can't nominate politicians.
Oh, geez.
Okay, and, I know, so we need to start working on ideas for folks who would like, I guess we had to create the categories first.
Yeah, Rob has a series of ideas.
Yes, brainstorm, yeah.
He has a brainstorm that we're gonna narrow down. We're gonna get those published by the end of, my hope is mid-March. We have it reserved already. We had to give the reservation fee. But I think it's
It's supposed to say from like being able to put stuff on social media, it doesn't get better than that. Like,
Yeah.
it's being able to use that, I mean, that's a feel good, I mean,
Yeah.
and do good.
Joe said the gala was already paid for.
hopefully it will be.
I mean, that was something that he had promised, but I don't know what that has to do with the down
We should
payment.
maybe do like and I know you guys have talked a lot about, but some sort of working session. We talked about this last time. What did we actually make? What were the successes for the gala and what could we have done better?
What was it? Was it like $5,000?
It was $5,000 in profit. Yeah, and that's why I made the Google Drive so we can
Yeah.
add information there from now on.
Mhm.
So it's kind of like,
In talking with Joe, I got the same impression that he's
Mhm.
confident that we'll be able to have the donors to at least cover fixed expenses.
Yeah.
Now, that's, I'm not committing to that, I'm saying there's a
Mhm.
confidence level. And to me, it's just a great, I mean, I was there for a little bit last year. It was a great feel to the whole
Yeah.
thing. It was a great vibe. I thought it was.
if we can move it away from Thanksgiving, when people double attendance.
Yeah. So,
Especially Thanksgiving weekend.
yeah, I think you're right. There
Yeah,
were more
no,
people
I
expected.
I
And I
remember.
think you're right, because Thanksgiving, a lot of people dropped out of it.
That's why I can.
So I think moving it to where we have it would be good. And so we might want to start thinking about, I have a great candidate for a young person's award. And I'll tell you about that guy, is really amazing. He's runs a nonprofit. He's a sophomore in high school. He's running a nonprofit called MedPath. Which I'll tell you guys about that.
Sounds
later.
okay.
It's just,
That's
I couldn't believe it. He was telling me all this. Yeah, okay.
that sounds good.
Is there any way also, we should keep our ears open for that date of the 9th and make sure, I know we put the money down, but you know how like people start to plan things at different times?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, you're right. We should
football
get them.
season or
Right.
homecoming or
Can we get
whatever,
something
just to.
paper?
Actually, I'm putting it in my calendar.
Yeah.
We can publish it we can start putting it on media on the computer for various newspapers.
Mhm.
John, could we like tentatively publish it on the McCandless calendar? Do you going that far out?
In November, I wouldn't be going that far out yet. But if we have like the nomination text set up, I can just set that out as soon as it's ready.
When I
we
went
can
on the
enter the
calendar,
pages.
you can program.
Oh, yeah, you can go
forward.
as far as you want.
We just put it just like tentatively put it there so that if
Yeah.
something else happens, they'll see that we have that space. Let's say if somebody else is planning an event or an activity,
We can probably try to do that, yeah.
I'm just trying to. I don't
And
want
again, I
to
would
get
put the
up
date on
the
the actual like initial advertising too.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
Ask
yeah.
for nominees.
Yeah, I can even just give you a logo and we can just put it there.
Mhm.
Okay.
He's putting it in my calendar.
All right, can I get a motion to accept these year-long fundraising?
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
I,
Anybody against? Next, all right, one more thing to vote on here, small fundraising. plans.
So we have some smaller fundraising plans, for our speaker series. We are gonna suggest a $10 donation for every speaker, for people who are coming to see the speaker. With the new program from the township, they will be able to pay that as a suggested price, so if they don't have the money, they don't have to. Directly on there, and I think that will help. I think that'll help in a couple ways. One is to make sure we have money to pay for the that comes out of our funds for paying for the speaker, because we are paying for the speakers, between $100 and $200 per speaker. Or donating to an organization like the Native American, the Western Pennsylvania Native American speaker. We're donating the money to his organization, the Three Rivers Council for Native Americans. Other speakers were paying directly. So just to have that $10 suggested fee, I think will really help build up that money.
Mhm.
So we can get bigger and better speakers.
So was that in the advertising, the $10 suggestion?
So for these ones, I don't believe
Yeah, we did.
we didn't do it. But these are also, we're considering these outreach for the UPMC and the Alzheimer's Association. They're not history speakers. For the next one, for the March one, which is our first history speaker, if we approve it, it's going to be.
Okay, but that minute, is that put on by UPMC?
It's put on by a volunteer UPMC organization.
Okay, and we do have, I don't know, it just came out of nowhere. I mean, I know I got a paper on it, but I didn't know what the schedule of that.
It's a scheduled event. It was one that Joe was working on before he left. So I just kind of took it over. UPMC is gonna come 4 times with medical speakers. They are not on our history, like they're on a different Thursday. The first one is Minutes Matter. It's about responding within minutes when there's an accident. There's going to be experts here from UPMC, like on what to do in that situation. And they are doctors who volunteer their time to come and present to the community. They were like, I need a table for all my CPR dummies. We need to set up our AED machine. So it's gonna be like really informative.
Sounds like we get 2 birds there. Probably
Yeah.
record one of those folks, yeah.
And after that, I got the email, I'm like, we need all these tables. I'm like, we don't have an AED machine. Maybe that's something we need to look into. But I considered those outreach, so I didn't put, and it wasn't approved yet by our board. The other item that goes with the speaker fees is, other organizations do this. If they pay a one-time fee, they reserve seats for all of the speakers. So if we're saying a $10 suggested donation per speaker, if we reduce it and say $70 suggested donation, and you get a reserve seat for all the speakers, so you don't have to think about whether you're reserving a seat or not. I don't know if a lot of people go for it the first year, but I think if we set that up next year, when we are able to publish our speaker series, hopefully in November for the following year, I think more and more people, if that's something we offer, will go for it.
So this year, when we talked about this, just to clarify, this year, we're just gonna present them as this speaker and this speaker. Next year, try and set it up almost.
Yeah, we can
speaker-
set it
speaker
up as a
series.
speaker series.
So.
but they can still come without paying.
Yeah, you get.
It's a suggested
if you buy the
donation.
series, yeah, you just buy the series.
Suggested donation.
And,
There are people like Rob, I think it was Rob, you came to nearly every one of them, right?
Oh, yeah, no, yeah, I would, I would pay for the series, just be done with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, then you don't have to think
Donate.
about it, it's there, you
Yeah.
know.
And we can always adjust if we go along and all of a sudden no one shows up because of the $10 and you know, I doubt that'll happen.
Yeah,
We, you know, we can always adjust, we can always adjust it.
but there are people that come to every one of them, they're looking for them, and
Yeah.
I think it's a good idea, I think it'll work.
And,
Because-
oh, sorry, Bill. No, I was gonna say, if it's suggested, if people put a value on it. And so if people put a value on it, saying this is worth something. Studies show that people then are more likely to do it sometimes,
That's-
especially younger people. If you
counterintuitive.
say it costs something, therefore
Yeah.
there's value in it,
That's-
and they show up.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Yeah, I,
that was the thought process behind that.
And just on the marketing side for that, because we're planning these a lot earlier, John, I'm gonna try and do the marketing, the flyer, the
Okay, yeah,
social media and calendar and get that to you quicker,
Okay.
so we could be able to
That's a
plan
lot,
things out,
yeah.
and you can just pop them in, so I'd like to populate your calendar with wonderful things.
yeah,
And
It's a
not
lot
just
better.
wait till the month before.
yeah, it's a good idea.
And then I'll do the same thing whenever I publish on various newspapers,
Mhm.
is I can put things years ahead, like I can put it ahead of time. That way, when people are looking, oh, what's to do in Pittsburgh?
Yeah,
Oh, look, that sounds interesting.
Now, you had mentioned, in an email that, how we'll do this is, you'll be here, you'll have one volunteer. And did you say another member of the board? And then volunteer, the volunteers then will be guests. So would the volunteers be paying the $10?
It's a suggested donation.
Okay.
Just, and I just said that because we have limited seats. I'm
Yeah.
really hoping for some,
Not all volunteer,
we'll fill up our seats.
yeah.
So just to keep track of who is coming, they will need to register. Whether they decide to pay that $10 suggested donate, that's up to them. I can't.
I would suggest wrongly that we tell them not to.
That we do it.
We tell them not
yeah,
to,
we tell volunteers.
not to volunteers.
yeah, I agree.
They're,
Yeah,
And
they're
they'll be
donating
able to
to the top,
process
I
that
think.
form without paying.
Yeah,
the $10.
absolutely, absolutely.
yeah, I mean,
Well, I think that's for the time that they put in.
First of all, more than 10.
It's almost like-
Yeah, it was way more.
you know,
Yeah.
you come gratis, yeah.
Mhm.
you know.
But we still need to keep track of how many seats we're filling.
Good.
Right.
That's
That's why I just said 2 people to keep track.
And we'll let people know that if they pay $70 for the whole series and they don't plan to attend, they need to, kind of let us know, so open those seats up.
Yeah, you can RSVP and someone else can come for your
Yeah.
seat,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
like you give your ticket away for a speaker series.
The next one is a room rental fee. Right now, our room rental fee is very, very low, but it's not published anywhere. So I wanted to publicize it more, because when I looked for rooms to rent for whatever, I couldn't find this place. Like, it didn't come up in any search, so nobody knows that it's available to
Yeah,
rent.
I don't think we've ever.
Um,
done that.
Advertise it.
One, we had one event that wasn't, didn't have anything to do with them.
And
We
then,
had a wait sheet.
Oh, wait.
Wait.
but
Yeah.
for people looking for a room to rent for a meeting or for something, I was contacted by a gardening organization that wanted to have a lunch in here.
You think are you considering that? Cause they're the ones that we have all the.
I was,
bartenders,
yeah.
okay.
I responded, I said, this is what I think our fee is gonna be, but I told him I would contact him after our meeting today to figure out. But our fee in that rental agreement is $25. Which is extremely low, the cheapest I could find in this area for a place that's at 40+ people was $250. So I'm not saying we need to go to $250, but I think this would be an easy way to increase our money.
I got 800 for the way.
Airbnb, right next to North Park, I mean.
There you go.
It's dead in here.
I mean, I don't know what it should be. I was thinking between $100 and $150.
Yeah, if you're saying
For a
others are
period of-
250, maybe we undercut. for the first year. and-
Yeah, see how it goes.
We
Yeah,
can do
and
on,
see how it goes.
Yeah, see how it goes.
so $100 for a period of.
Make it 150. You think
150 for 3 hours?
Yeah,
Yeah, I think that's.
yeah, $50 an hour seems
These
reasonable.
women have been in here and looked through the books and everything. I think they'd be really pleased. to
Yeah, they
do
were, I
that.
mean, they were excited. It would be so much easier if our displays were on wheels so we could make more room, but in the future, that will be great.
Now we have to, how do we do that and also protect our,
Our collection,
collection? Guess there'll be somebody here when.
there will be
Oh,
somebody
yeah.
here. We would have to have somebody here.
Okay.
And I think there's between us, the board members and volunteers, we could cover,
Yeah, I think.
Okay.
cover anything,
That's a
but
good
we
idea.
would have to have somebody here. Just to keep an eye on everything.
Mhm.
I'm working with Miss O'Connor from the Parks and Recreation Department to organize some house tours. She was talking, and I've seen other ones, like in Carnegie and other places that people make a ton of money from them. But that is something she and I are working on, whether we're gonna do it in the summer, so we can see gardens, or whether we can look in December for Christmas decorations.
I looked into the gardening thing. If you do that, you have to use this summer to look at the garden.
And then next summer.
And next summer would
Oh,
be,
good
and I have a whole
call.
list of things you need to do.
Yeah, your brother
Yeah,
is
it's a good
awesome.
Yeah.
But that is in the works. Nothing is planned, but I just needed wanted approval to move the part, to continue it. The North Park photography exhibit. I know we did it last year. I'm still interested in doing it this year. I can't find any contact information or with the organization that we did it with. I found their name and I looked on Facebook. These poor people think I'm crazy. I contacted like 4 different Facebook organizations about North Park photography. And they're like, no, I've heard of it, but we didn't do it.
I was friends in the park.
Yeah.
Okay, they said they didn't organize it. They didn't help with it. They were one of the people that I.
Put that on the Abby list.
contacted.
Man.
But if we just open it up to
To
North Park
photographers.
photographers
would be-
and do something with
Yeah.
that,
Does it, I mean, do we want to stick with North Park or can we do it? I mean, I know a guy who does wonderful pictures of birds. I mean, you know, things.
Well, you
would
could
be-
say you were like-
How about nature?
Yeah.
Nature and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
Nature and photography.
Yeah.
That's, oh,
but make it more, and I was thinking. It would be like an art show where people can purchase items. We can do the wine and cheese like we did
Yeah.
before.
We auctioned off used tickets to auction.
Auction off one thing.
Yeah.
And maybe, I don't know how many people paint still, but do photography, just artwork, photography and art, if people
Yeah.
wanna come in with artwork. And we have a couple pieces downstairs that are in our collection of North Park artwork, we could feature those.
Yeah.
The other thing I was thinking of was with those artwork pieces downstairs, if. I was looking at copyright laws and see if we can make prints of those and sell them.
yeah,
So we just need to do more research on that, because I think that would be an excellent addition to
You mean that there's painted,
the painted ones. They're pretty, they're very simple.
very simple.
They're folk artish, which is what people like.
And a lot.
Yeah.
So if we could do something with that,
okay.
that's something I wanted to look more into. Cause it's about the amount of time that passed since the person has died and their immediate
years.
family
Yeah,
members.
50 years.
So, we'll have to just do some research into that, because I thought that was
I
great.
think I can find. I'm trying to think if they were related. We had one member who died. And she's the one who had brought those in. But I don't think they were hers. I was thinking I knew his brother. But just trying to find the connection. of Who that was.
That kind of speaks to when we talk about having a little store or, because you can make little cards.
Postcards
like
or-
that, or thank you cards and,
Yeah.
you know. Again, that's not a lot of money, but it
It's a
does,
small
yeah, it's a small
stream.
stream. And
There's a part in
And I
this
think people
first
would, if we
case
make
here
it
that's,
we have like a principal.
and
Yeah.
the name's got,
Um,
it came
we used
from
to do
Evansville.
something with North Hills Art Club or something like that, right?
Down on Bedford.
Yeah, didn't we, I don't mean to bring up any bad memories.
No, what?
Do you remember the North, didn't we used to do something with the North Hills Art Club?
Yeah, North
Yeah.
Hills, yeah, that, no, that had nothing to do with North Hills Art Center.
Oh,
That was, people there, and I had asked the woman who's in charge of that, and she said, yes, we have people all the time that have our work that they would probably like to show. Because they're, if you paint, you have a room full of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But that could be something we have here too.
we do it around North Park. It has a connection to us.
Yeah.
And it has a theme, so you're not
Mhm.
like
And
pretending you're an arts.
yeah, right.
Gallery.
we even do like,
Yeah.
scenes around the campus. or something.
Yeah.
Anyway, well, I just remembered that we had them in for a while and,
Yes, we did, we have them for quite a
Oh,
while.
I know there was also talk about having North Allegheny display artwork here from their art program.
Hmm.
I didn't find this teachers very receptive
Yeah.
to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I,
Standoffish.
Didn't wanna
Offered all that,
push.
and they just didn't want.
yeah.
well, I mean, from a teacher's perspective, it's a lot of work.
Well, the one I understand,
Like, that's
having my
not-
daughters go through that, they have a big art.
Yes, they have a big art show and the art place down on Babcock also just recently did one from North Allegheny Schools. So,
I think maybe where we see that we're crossing over to another
yeah,
organization's efforts,
Mm,
we just don't
Yeah.
have to duplicate.
so that opening or the art photography thing would be great. And our last small fundraiser is Riverstone Books. I just got an updated email from them. But what they are gonna do is come to our speakers, starting in March. They're gonna see how it goes. They don't wanna write up anything formal yet. And they're gonna sell books on the topics that we are doing. If they are able to get access to the books that the people who spoke wrote, they're gonna sell the books. If it's okay with the author. If not, they're gonna sell books around the topic. So for example, in March, our speaker is on women's suffrage movement in the 1910s, 1920s. And so they're gonna bring in a collection of books that are a variety of ages.
They're gonna do that for our speakers.
For our speakers,
See
they're
it
going
right
to
after.
give us a portion of the profits that they make. And it's no extra work on us.
We just made a case full of women's books and they want to take them.
No, but
No, this is the same.
these people are gonna buy them, like,
Okay.
people who,
Oh,
Yeah.
like, you come to see a speaker on the history of telephones.
Okay.
And so there's gonna be books, so you can get more information on the history of telephones. If we come to see a speaker on Native Americans in Western
Mhm.
Pennsylvania, they're gonna have books,
Yeah.
kids' books, middle school books, high school books. It's gonna be like a book fair for adults.
Oh,
Um,
so that each speaker we would have something.
They
like
would
that.
bring in, not leave them here, but bring
Yeah.
in and go back to the store when they're done. Right now, they are tentatively saying they will send a person with the books,
Mhm,
cause I volunteered to go pick up the books
yeah,
and to deliver them at the end of the night. And they're like, no, right now, let's just try and see how it goes. We'll send a person free of charge. They will take care of all the book things. I mean, it's advertising for them.
Yeah.
And we get a portion of,
that's what I-
Very excited about that relationship. This is a great, because we work with them at Shady Side and they're wonderful people and they're very, very professional. And I think it'd be a great relationship between both of us.
Yeah.
I called a
Both, yeah.
couple different bookstores, locally owned bookstores before I found one that would agree to do something like this, and they agreed.
To me, I'm trying to figure out why not, like, it
Yeah.
seems like, all.
For us, it's really good, for them.
Yeah, the risk is almost, is nothing
It's
for us.
nothing.
I mean, it's like,
It's 5:40, so let's go ahead and I'll make a motion to accept these wonderful small fundraising plans. Give it a second.
Good.
Okay, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Anybody against? All right, very good. Motion passes. Any public comments?
Yes, my name is Candy Gagney. I'm a resident in McCandless. this is my second trip back to McCandless. I moved to the east side of the city and came back. But I represent a number of kidney organizations, especially the American Kidney Fund. And I had spoken to Joe about the outreach program and us having a tabling for that program, and we would have maybe some light refreshments, but it would be to tell people about the American Kidney Fund, about kidney disease awareness, about organ donation, and the opportunities for patients in the area to participate in things that the American Kidney Fund has to offer, such as prescription plans, premium plans for insurance, living donation for kidney organizations, and so on. And I have my information.
Wonderful, yes.
I'll give that to you.
Yeah, we have a couple months that we don't have an outreach plan for.
Okay, that would be great.
Absolutely, I'll email you about dates.
Okay, great.
Thanks for coming.
We do,
Yeah, sure. You guys do
outreach, we
good work.
usually do the first Thursday of the month.
Okay, first.
So I'll see what months we have available, but definitely,
Thanks for coming back to McKinney.
yeah.
Yeah, I know you're making the trip.
Well, I mean, it's been home. I moved out there for work reasons and so on. My husband passed away. My daughter has been since, well, I retired from the Navy.
Oh.
And we
Thank you for your
settled
service.
in Indianapolis, and then went over to the east side for about 10, 11 years, just because of work issues and so on. And my daughter has not left here since we came back when I retired in 1996.
Okay.
So, yeah, she's been, since 96, she's been here, and I took a break, but I'm back.
Wonderful.
That's
Thank you.
great.
All right, any more public comment? All right, can I get a motion to adjourn? I move to adjourn, second. Second, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Anybody against?
All
All right,
right.
all right, thank you, folks.
Thank you.
When, I'm here tomorrow morning.